Hi, thank you very much for joining. Maybe you can quickly say your name, what you're doing right now, and where you were professionally before the Global Immersion Framework program.
My name is Freya. I went on the immersion in 2023. Right now, I work with a chain in Denmark called Minkemann, which is a grocery store chain. I was with the same chain, but in a different position before the immersion.
How did you find the program? What were your expectations before the program?
I really like the program, especially the immersion itself. Like experience in different cultures, and I like the fact that the program is based on um, going and getting practical experience and being able to apply your knowledge straight away. I think it's a really cool way to learn. And I think for me, it's a lot more tangible to learn this way than through just readings. And it's really different from how a lot of the university courses in Denmark go because they're very books based and then you have an exam. And then for me, at least, learning in that way means that I can cram all this knowledge and then kind of put it aside for the next exam, whereas this, you use the knowledge firsthand while you're there, and then you have reflections in the evenings and also after the experience, and it's just a much more embedded learning, in my opinion.
Was it something that surprises you when you reach India and when the immersion started? Or was it something or challenge your assumption in a way or another?
I think we were challenged, but that was more so because of our case, because we had, first of all, we worked with a medical startup. Hierarchy was very, very clear in the company, and the CEO wanted us to expand the company in ways that we didn't think made sense because they had FDA approval, so they could technically work in the States. But what they wanted us to do was to expand in Europe and to enter the European market, which we didn't find super logical because they just gained the FDA approval. So what would be logical would be to start in the American market. It was really hard for us to explain to him how every European country have different entry barriers and have different languages. And these were things that he was unaware of, but he still was pretty set that that was what he wanted us to do. So I think that was a challenge for my group in general. I think I was not very surprised by the immersion itself because I also did the elective where you go to Uganda in the spring. So I was kind of used to and expecting of the chaotic part of it with like being in a new country and being in a less modern area, I would call it maybe, and all these cultural differences and the working across cultural barriers and stuff like that. So that part didn't, I guess, surprise me as much, but maybe some of the other students who didn't go to Uganda, they were more startled by the chaos.
How did you manage to navigate that kind of a clash with the management? I think is something common also in other companies, especially because of a new culture. How was that for you? How did that
I
feel?
think, first of all, we did end up working towards that goal, even though we all found it a little like not intuitive as the next steps for the company. So we did kind of adhere to the wishes of the CEO, but at the same time making him aware of the challenges and how we saw a lot more entry barriers to the European market than the American market. But then also Sudhanshu was a big help. He is a very respected man in India and he has a lot of pull. So getting him involved was very helpful. And I think for several of the groups, he can kind of also, he has a talent for like realigning and just kind of resetting the expectations, I guess. So that was a big help for us.
Something from the program that stayed with you after it ended, something that was really keen to you.
I think the experience in general, and I think it was really valuable to work across cultures in a way that was challenging because I have done that because I did international studies where I think it's 40% are international students, and we also went to Uganda where we worked with local students there. But this was the first time that I had experienced that it was a challenge, and that we didn't necessarily feel like working towards the same goals. It's a really interesting thing to experience, and I think it's also a really valuable experience because you will often in your work life be put together with other teams and other managers and stuff like that where your goals do not necessarily align short term. So I think that was a very valuable experience.
I was curious also if there is any, particular lessons or experience that helps you later on in your career or maybe in your personal life.
I think for me, any cross cultural experience is valuable. It's something that I really enjoy and it's something that I would like to have more of in my work life. But I think that the way we were kind of thrown in the deep end makes for a steep learning curve. And I think that's helpful in any situation to work with people who are unlike yourself.
Who should do this program and who probably shouldn't? What is the persona that you think it would be a good fit to the global immersion framework?
I think you definitely need to be open minded as a person and you need to be adaptable. One of my group members was this finance bro type guy who, in the beginning, was really frustrated with the way Sudanshu was teaching. And it turned out fine because he was also the type of person to enjoy the cultural experience and the cross culture work. But I think you definitely need to enjoy those things and also be able to accept a bit of chaos. I think if you are very set in your ways, then you're not gonna enjoy this course.
If you would explain the chief program in one sentence to have a one liner that can describe it.
I guess an embedded experience to really enhance the academic work that you've learned.
Amazing. Thank you so much.